Hey, everyone. Welcome back. Oh my goodness, it's good to be back. Look we got the new logo, Best Women's Boxing Show, period. I'm Cynthia Conte and my beautiful co-host.
And I am Jeandra LeBeauf, and we are happy to be back with you for some more boxing talk, real boxing talk, the Women's Best Boxing Show.
Absolutely.
Period.
And so, from our last episode, we just recently dropped of Caleb Plant. He told us things, why he has beef with Benavidez Sr. Allegedly, there were things that were said. And so now we had to get it from the other truth, the other side of the story. Jose Benavidez Sr. on the record, on the call to let us know exactly what is their truth. So thank you, Jose, for joining us.
Oh, thank you guys for giving me the invite to your show. I really appreciate it.
The pleasure is ours.
I know. Thank you. Thank you for joining our new show.
Thank you, guys. It looks great.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're trying to do a little something over here. We're trying to do a little something for you. But we are welcome. We're glad to have you with you. As you may have heard or seen, there's a clip circulating around on Twitter of Caleb Plant when he was on our last show. We'll get right to the business. Making some statements that your family allegedly said some things about his daughter. And we wanted to give you all the opportunity to rebut that, because we are a show that's committed to the truth and to boxing, and we want to hear both sides of the story. So we appreciate you joining us to discuss it.
For sure. No problem. Anytime.
Okay, so based on from what the first part that Caleb said, that there is allegedly a video going around on YouTube that you and possibly David Benavidez have said things about his late daughter that is no longer here. So I need to understand, or we need to understand, why allegedly this was said by you, if this was said by you, and why is Caleb Plant saying this, that you guys said this?
Well, there's always two sides of the story.
Three, sweetie. There's always three. There's always three.
Yeah, there's 3, 2, whatever. Yeah, so you know what? I have 5 kids of my own, and I love them to death, and I would do anything for them. Caleb Plant, is just making up stories. For some reason, David was a champion before him, but he was, before David went professional, I think for some reason, I felt that he was a little jealous about the attention that David was getting. And look at him now, he fought Canelo. So I think, sometimes, you just want things that other people want, and you start making up lies and do all these kind of things, I didn't make nothing up, I wrote that story. I don't know if you guys ever wrote that story about him, the truth about Caleb Plant, and once I wrote that, it broke my heart. And I just said, that, I had no respect for this man, of what he's done, of what I wrote on that article. So that's exactly what I said, and this guy is just making up a lot of lies and stories. And I mean, I don't even know what is it that he wants, He's a great fighter. He has a lot of talent. He's very successful. I just don't know, what his problem is with David.
When you said, we have seen the article, it's written by Michael Woods, I believe, New York Fights. When you read the story, were you in interviews from our colleagues responding to this, or where was this said?
That's exactly that. That's, as soon as, when I had a lot of respect, like I said, a lot of respect for this man. He's a great fighter. He's doing the same thing that we're doing. He's struggling. He's working hard, and doing all these things, When David tested positive for illegal substances, like recreative substances or whatever, he every day, man, he started talking, and, as a father, that really hurt me, man, and one day, I met up to him, and I went and talked to him and to his team, and I told him, dude, man, I'm going to ask you in the most respectful way, can you please stop this, talk about anything that you're going to beat them up, whatever, but can you leave this memes about you with drugs and all that, man, it's really hurting me, brother, please, can you stop that? And he, what he said? He says, yes, Jose, I'm going to stop. I'm sure, no problem. So I thanked him. I said, man, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. As a father, it hurts me very much, So I go home the next day. He came out with new stuff, same thing. And, that's when I I just wanted to punch him in the face, because it did really hurt me. And I went up to him and he gave me his word, that he was going to stop doing memes about drugs and he would put David, snoring coke and all that. How would you feel about, somebody doing that to your son, And like I say, this is the business. Boxing is a business. You could do so many things, but sometimes, there's things that, you go over your limit.
It's been the drama between the two camps has been so happy. You guys share managers and advisors. You have common team people. Have they had to intervene and say anything about you guys need to chill out, or what has been their involvement, if any?
We don't share managers. We don't share managers at all. He has his own manager. I'm David's manager. He says that I'm just a trainer, that I don't make any decisions. How does he know? I'm David's manager. I've been training him since he was 2 years old. I've been training him. I've been managing him all the way to the world titles. We work with the same promotion company. I work with Luis de Cubas, and I work with Al Heyman. We're in the same promotion company. He has his manager. His manager is Luis de Cubas. I'm David's manager. And, he's now saying that I'm just a trainer, that I don't make decisions. I talked to Luis de Cubas to make that fight with him, and he backed up. He didn't want to make that fight, He just comes with so many different things, and I don't understand what his problem is or what is it that he wants.
Back to when you just said about the fight, we asked Caleb if there was allegedly a fight presented to him for against David Benavidez in September of 2022. I'm going to ask you the same exact question. Was there a fight that you and David Benavidez and your team presented it to Caleb Plant and his team?
Let me tell you what happened. Like I said, this guy has been talking and talking. To be honest with you, he had a fight. He didn't do good on that fight, So I thought, hey, maybe this guy is gonna relax, take a break, and start back over again. Get a couple of tune-ups or whatever. But we have a fight on May 21st. So he started saying things about David again, fat boy, this and that, and he's not even in the picture. We weren't even thinking about him, So the things that he says like that, it just, it seems like he wants to fight. So I got on the phone right away with his manager, Luis de Cubas, and I asked for the fight. I told him, hey, listen, David wants to fight. Let's make this fight happen. It's an easy fight to make. We're in the same company. We want the fight. If he takes a fight, that will be a easy fight to make. So he did. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to him. And I'm not. We're going to work on it. So, okay. So we were working on it. So the next day I called Luis again on what's going on. And he said, I'm still working on it. And, the third time, I call him and he said, yeah, he don't want to take it. So at the end of the day, we were working on it and we just said, let's do it for September or we can do it whenever he wants. It doesn't matter. Whatever happens in the fight with David Benavidez and Lemieux on May 21st, we could do it in September. We could do it at the end of the year. It doesn't matter. David's only 25 years old. Whatever happens, if he wins, let's make the fight happen. If he loses, let's make that fight happen, So I don't understand. Like I said, I'm super confused. He's just always in the picture there. Maybe he wants attention. He wants to promote his next fight, or I don't even know what is it that he wants,
You touched on it earlier that you guys all share certain people. And even Jeandra, you said, how has anyone stepped in? Has Al Heyman even stepped in as both of their advisors and said, this has got to stop? Like, you guys are...
You know what? I did talk to Luis de Cubas, and I asked him, because he's the manager, please, can you talk to this guy? Please, man, you know what? This guy is getting on my head too much, man. One of these days, I'm not going to hold myself, man. I'm going to punch him in the face, man. To be honest with you, please, I don't want to do that, man. Can you please talk to him, and can you just tell him to stop, I mean, I know myself and, I have nothing against him, he's doing great. He's doing his own thing, but he's always starting to talk shit, man. So I finally, we really want to get him in the ring. It doesn't matter when, but we need to make it happen. We need to make it happen so we can settle everything down inside the ring, not outside the ring, If he really feels that he can beat David or whatever, he thinks that he's better than him. I mean, he needs that fight, and we need that fight. So why not make it happen inside the ring, But I have talked to his manager and told him, I talked to my lawyer and I told him, man, send him a letter, please, stop doing this, bro. But this guy does I don't know what it is with him, man. And I'm telling you right now, I don't know what is it that he wants. Does he want to fight? or he's just so jealous about David. I don't understand. To be honest with you, I'm confused. There's so many other fighters that we need to focus on. We need to focus on our fight. There's so many things, that, like I said, okay, if you really want to fight David, let's make the fight happen whenever you want. September, October, November, December, whenever you want. We're ready to go.
So then the task at hand is David Lemieux. How did David Lemieux get into the mix? Because over the last few months, there's been a lot of conversation with David, with Charlo. They've had their things back and forth in the media, Caleb Plant. It's just been this kind of circle thing between the three of them. And then here comes David Lemieux, who was formerly of Golden Boy. How did this fight even come to be made?
First of all, I want to thank David Lemieux for taking the fight, for stepping in and taking that fight. It's a very dangerous fight for us. David Lemieux, it's a strong fighter, a fighter that hits super hard, a fighter that has a lot of experience, and we can't underestimate David Lemieux. He fought the best. He's the next world champion. So we had to come super prepared on May 21st. And we're just focused on that fight right now, just to train hard and make sure there's no injuries and we get 100% to that day. So all these guys, they're just talking and talking and talking, but they don't step in the ring. We would like to fight anybody because at the end of the day, that's what we do. And we need these fights in order to go to the next level. And we're willing to fight any of these guys, Boo Boo, Charlo, Caleb Plant, and Morrell, whoever's in there, and that's what we do. In order to show our people and show our skills, we have to go through these people, So I just hear a lot of talks. I don't, like I said, I don't even understand why, but they don't want to step in the ring, So we're not afraid to lose our undefeated record. We're here to risk and to do the best that we can.
You touched on it earlier about David Benavidez and the substance abuse, and it's been talked about a couple times that David has unfortunately lost his belt twice, once on the scale, and then also because of cocaine. Like it's out there. It's it happened. When that happened, you are his father, you are his trainer, you are his advisor, you are everything to him. Why did David do it?
I have no idea, that I was devastated. I was something that I couldn't believe, I asked my question. I thought I fell, what happened? I was taking care of him all the time, I didn't see it happen, but when you're that young, sometimes, you go out, you have friends and you start partying and that's when the things happen. So he came and, he was crying and I was crying, and I just, it was devastating, but together we worked hard, we got up and we decided to go forward. And sometimes to me, I think that was a blessing in disguise because he did that early. So now he's been tested and he's gone tested all the time. So I think that at the end of the day, I think that was a great thing that happened early in his career because a lot of people do a lot of things that we don't know and people don't catch them. So it gets worse. With us, it happened super fast and early in his career that now, we can pay more attention to him and he learned from his mistakes and he know that he messed up and he regrets that. And he's just, now he's a father. He matures so much. And I see now, that it makes my job a little bit easier now. And he's just hungry and he wants to fight all these guys. So at the end of the day, I think that was a good thing that happened early in his career so he can mature from that and learn a lot from that.
What do you think is the biggest difference between your two sons? Because you have Jose Jr. who fights at welter. You have David that fights at super middle. Jose Jr. has never really had any weight issues. He's kind of progressed through his career. He's had injuries, but nothing to the extent of his brother. His brother, David, has had weight issues. He's been very candid how early in his life he was a heavier kid who lost a lot of weight, and he's pulled himself up and become a champion. What do you think is the biggest difference between your two sons? Because their approach is very different.
The biggest difference is the metabolism of both persons. Junior had a faster metabolism. David eats a little bit, and then he has to really be careful on what he eats. The other one could eat chips, he could eat whatever, and the body's just fast, but at the end of the day, I think Junior was a superstar when he was 16, 17, 18, and David, that was his role model. And he didn't think he could be like Junior. So he had to work harder. And for him, he had to work super hard in order to be where he's at now. For Junior, it just came a little bit faster, and maybe Junior was more talented. David had to work harder to show the people that he did belong in the boxing world.
Recently, I'd seen an interview that our friend, KO Artist Sports, shout out to our boy, Steven Carreño. He was at a fight and he ran into Chavez Sr. and asked him who he would rather see Canelo fight, if he'd rather see him fight Charlo or David or what fight. And he mentioned that he would rather see him fight against David. He thought that would be a more competitive fight. It was ongoing negotiations, discussions of possibly having a fight between Canelo and David. First, I just wanted you to respond to what Chavez Sr. said about David and him presenting a greater challenge for Canelo, and how close were those negotiations? Like, how close was the Canelo fight truly for you guys?
Well, first of all, for a legend like that to speak about David and saying that that would be a fight that he would like to see, it's a dangerous fight. It's an honor. It's something unbelievable for me that I didn't know nothing about boxing. And now being here and talking to you guys, and I hear now Julio Cesar Chavez talking about Benavidez, the Benavidez family, David Benavidez. It's an honor. And the negotiations were very close. We did talk to our promoter, and they offer us an amount of money to fight Canelo, and they told us that they were going to offer $100 million to fight two deal fight with Canelo. And I just told them, listen, let's try to get as the minimum, as many that we can get, the minimum, so they can take the fight. We don't care about the money right now. The money eventually will come, but we'll take the minimum. Whatever Canelo wants to do, whatever he wants to take, let him have it. And it's an easy fight to make. We just want the opportunity to fight with the best, the pound for pound, the king of 168. That's all we want.
That's some big bank. How much was the minimum? Do you want to tell us how much that was? I mean, we know how much was the minimum. We know it wasn't 1999.
Yeah, they were talking. Everybody knows that. Everybody gets paid like 10 million, 13, 8, somewhere around there. We were willing to take 3, 2, whatever the minimum was. Whatever. We didn't even talk about that. I said, I don't care about that. Make that fight happen. Whatever he wants to get, we'll make it. I just want the opportunity, because at the end of the day, if I think David could beat him, that's what I feel. It's not an easy fight. It's a super dangerous fight. But David's young, he's a 2-time world champion, he's undefeated, he's bigger, he's taller, he's stronger. And even though if he doesn't win, if it goes to distance, we're already winners, So at the end of the day, we were willing to take a big risk and fight the monster of Canelo. But I think as it goes, David's going to get more stronger. I don't see that fight happening, to be honest with you. But if it does, in the future, David's going to be more stronger. And it's going to be even harder for him to fight Canelo, because at the end of the day, Canelo, he's done everything. Now he's focused a little bit more on golf, and he does have other businesses that it takes him away from boxing. Now we're 100% doing boxing. Now we're focused on boxing 100% at this moment. So I think that benefits us in a way.
It's been known that Canelo is not one to run from any fighter. He takes on every challenge that's in front of him, or he even calls out people. Why do you believe, and why do you think, maybe, I don't know if David has ever talked to you about it, why do you think that fight has never come to fruition when David is not as strong, especially when he was a belt holder at the time? Because now you just said David is going to be getting stronger and bigger. So why would Canelo wait when he's bigger and stronger? Why wouldn't he have taken him back then?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. Right now, he would not. The thing is with us, with fighters and boxers and trainers, we know who are what are the styles that are going to give us problems, and they know that David's going to give them problems. That's not an easy fight with David, and they know that they don't want to get that fight, and they're doing a great thing. Actually, I wouldn't fight David either. If I have all these other fighters that I think that I can beat, nobody's going to. Right now, at the level that Canelo is, he's not going to fight somebody that is going to give him trouble. He's going to fight people that he knows that he can beat.
So let's just looking into in the future. He's got the fight coming up against Beavel. David's a big boy. it's very likely in the future he might want to move up to light heavyweight and compete at that level. Where did you guys leave off with your conversation? Is it possible that there could be something in the future, maybe move up to light heavyweight, see him there instead of Benavidez or one of those fighters?
Didn't Benavidez? I remember reading Benavidez, I believe. I don't know. Maybe that was a fantasy fight, but was there any kind of a contract put out for him to move up in weight?
You don't know, there was like about a year ago, maybe go up to 175, and there was talks about fighting Badujak, something like that, and we were willing to do that to step up to 175 when Badujak was a champion. But things got cold. It didn't really happen. But we're open. We're open to fight at 168, 175. David feels comfortable at 168. He feels super comfortable at 175. So we are, actually, hopefully, we would love to fight one of our friends, that we think that it's good and it's a good name for us. It's a good fight for him. It's a good fight for us. Zurdo Ramirez comes into mind, and, that would be a great fight.
That's what I read,
to step up to 175 and fight each other. It will be an honor to fight a warrior, a Mexican warrior too, like Zurdo Ramirez. He's a great fighter, a strong fighter. I hear that nobody wants to fight him too. So that will be a great fight that would be very interested at 175. And we're just focused on May 21st for now. Let's see what happens there. But if everything goes well, we're here to work and to get those big challenges and fight those guys that are avoided by other fighters. And Zurdo Ramirez is one of them. So we would really love to get a fight with Zurdo Ramirez.
It's really like a traffic jam at 168. It's very, very difficult to make fights at that weight, 160, 168, around that range. How much longer realistically do you guys want to stay there? Do you think you guys have to leave and go to 175 to create these new opportunities for him and continue his longevity? As you mentioned, he's very young. 25 is very, very young in his career, and he has a long way to go. So is the move after Lemieux, is it to re-examine trying to do a Canelo fight at 168 or Charlo or Plant, or would you rather move up and maybe challenge Beavel or BWBSP or any of those guys that are resting around that weight?
Yeah, for sure. I go by fight because he's only 25 years old. He's still growing, and the body's changing a little bit. Like I said, I have to see how he looks, how he feels for this fight. We haven't had any problems before. Last fight, we didn't have a problem with the weight. The fight before, he was 2 weeks before the fight, he was already on weight. Everything looks good right now at this point. The weight is good. Everything's ready to go. But we will have to see the day of the weigh-ins, how he feels and how he looks. And then we'll make a decision after that if we go up to 175. If he can't do 168, he can't do 168. I'll be the first one to move him up to 175. But there are the thoughts already. And like I said, if he can't do 168, we'll see the day of the weigh-ins and see how he feels. And if I feel that he's struggling a little bit, or, that last pound is being difficult to do, we'll definitely go to 175. No problem. We'll go right away.
We've had this conversation with a couple fighters, and we've also heard it with other boxers when they have a father-son team. Now, with you and your son, do you know, or have you and David ever had that conversation of when he's in a fight, would you throw in the towel, obviously, to save your son to fight another day? What kind of conversations do you have? Because you come into those issues that, oh my God, that's my son. Oh, but yet he's a fighter. Like, let him fight and just possibly go for the knockout, or just, let him do his thing. How do you differentiate that? And would you ever step aside as a head trainer and bring someone else into the mix?
Of course, I always think about that. First of all, it's live inside the ring, there's times, like I said, you can see, you're a fighter. And if I see that something's wrong in the first round and something's not right and he's getting hit too much, I'll be the first one to stop that fight, because at the end of the day, why is he going to take so much beating and maybe not even end up his career, So I would definitely see if he's not thinking right, and if I see that something's wrong with him, I'll definitely stop that fight. That's not the end of the world, I'm protecting him and trying to keep his career alive a little bit more, and maybe he could have a fight or two more, but I will not let him end up his career in one fight.
Okay.
Well, when you look at that and the idea of bringing somebody in to take your place if need be, what were the things that you would need? Who you feel would
I
be?
always thought about that. I started boxing. I didn't know nothing about boxing. I didn't even know how to throw a jab. I started learning when I was like 28, 27 years old. And, I trained my sons because the gyms that I went to, they were so packed and, they didn't really have that attention to give them, as a group. So I thought, hey, I want to help them. And that's how I became obsessed with boxing. I learned a lot about boxing. I'm still learning to this day. And, I always said, if I find somebody that could train them and do a better job than me, I would definitely do it right away without a heartbeat. I'm always going to be there. I'm always going to be watching. And, that would be even easier for me because it's a hard job to train your own son. It's super hard. It's very difficult. But right now, I haven't found that person that can do all that, that we need. And hopefully I can find it soon. I will definitely hire or get that person. I've been managing too. Like I said, when I find a manager that can fight for the rights and fight for every penny there is for them, I would hire them too. But to this point, I haven't found anybody. But I'm willing to step to the side and or maybe whenever he says, "Hey, Dad, I think I need to get more motivated. I think that's all you give me. I need to learn new things or whatever." It's doable. I would not even think about it. I'm always going to be there. And I have already, I have it's not just me right now. I have a team behind me. I have Poncho Ramirez. I have Javi. I have now a guy named Shade. I have Chris, Danina, our strength conditioning, and they all do mitts and they all work with them, So I already started doing that. So I have no ego, here. I just want the best for him.
You're over at San Diego at the Fight Stars compound, right? The fighter.
Yes,
Yeah.
We're here in a beautiful mansion here. The owner, his name is Patrick. It's 5 stars, man. He's man. I can't thank him enough for the opportunity to be here. We're super happy. We have everything we need here. It's more than what we need, Mm-hmm. It's a great camp and it's a beautiful house and I just want to thank them for that, for letting us stay here. And they've been treating us really good, and we're super happy to be here.
Who do you call for advice? You mentioned that you're still learning and you taught yourself. Do you have someone that you call and ask for advice?
No, to be honest, unfortunately, I don't. But what I did when I started boxing, I was in the wild card with Freddie Roach for 4 years. I was his assistant for 4 years, and I listened to everything he said. I watched everything he did, and then it was time for me to leave. Once I left, I went to Arizona, and then from Arizona, I went to Robert Garcia. That was another guy that I learned a lot from him, and I keep coming back and forth for almost 2 years. And then after that, I went with the Diaz brothers for like another 2 years. I learned a lot from them too. And I end up another 2-3 years with Abel Sanchez in Big Bear. So I picked up a lot from I would ask them a lot. And I want to also send a shout out to all these great trainers that I learned from. And I keep learning from all these other trainers too, new trainers, old trainers. And I'm just a sponge. And I feel that I haven't even done anything. I'm still learning and I pay attention to what people say to their fighters or the way they train their fighters, and whatever they do, I try to pick up. And like I said, I'm still learning, but I did learn a lot from all these good fighters, trainers.
There is something that we read on Twitter not too long ago, and we've seen it kind of floated around that David is fighting David Lemieux May 21st, and then Canelo is fighting Beavel Cinco de Mayo weekend. Now we know there's that commemorative belt by the WBC, and sadly we know what's going on in the world, and people or sanctioning bodies have taken Russian boxers off their sanctioning. They can't sanction any fights, obviously, in Russia, but they did sanction the Beavel fight against Canelo. And there's supposed to be a belt for that. Many have said, why not put it up for your fight, or not yours, your son's, David Benavidez versus Lemieux, since it's also in May. Have you heard of this?
No, I haven't heard of it. But I respect whatever. I'm supporting the United States. I'm supporting my people. Whatever they want, I would definitely be 100% supporting on their ideas or whatever. I have not heard that, but nobody likes wars. I feel
Yeah.
sad, and my heart is for all these people up there. I want to send them good vibes, and I hope everything ends pretty soon. And then, but like I said, I haven't heard anything. But I'll do anything that's in my uh, uh, side here, to support and help and do whatever we can to support these people.
Okay, and then since we're kind of on the topic, and to circle back to what you are as a trainer, we do know Canelo versus Dimitri Bivol is going to be happening. As a trainer, stylistically, how is this going to pan out, and who wins?
Well, I think Canelo is the king. Like I said, pound for pound, the best, the face of boxing. He's been super active, and he's, in my opinion, we spar Beavel, and Beavel is a dangerous fighter too. He's champion for a reason. It's going to be a really good fight. It's going to be an entertaining fight. I think. But in my opinion, of what I know, of what I seen, if I knew who was going to win, I would definitely bet. But I never bet.
Yeah, no, let us know too.
Yeah, but it's hard, to be honest. What happens sometimes, there's distractions, there's injuries in camps that some people don't know sometimes, or something happens in there that sometimes, they just go there and they don't say nothing, they don't tell no one, but they're not 100%. So I hope they come 100% both, so they're going to give us a good fight. But I see Canelo taking this fight. But like I said, I could be wrong, and I don't know. I know it's going to be a good fight. It's going to be an entertaining fight. I can't wait to see that fight. But I see, in my experience or whatever, I kind of see on the styles, I think Canelo is going to struggle with them a little, like he does all the times. 2-3 rounds, he's going to adjust, and maybe, in my opinion, I think that it could be a stoppage. Once somebody gets hurt, once that first punch connects real good, the other person is hurt, and then you have a chance to finish the fight.
What dangers does Beavel possess that could be dangerous to Canelo?
What I've seen of Beavel, he does have a lot of experience. He does have a really good jab, a 1-2, and he hits really hard with that right hand. So, Canelo is very smart. I think he knows that. I think he's going to watch that right hand, and I would, if I was his trainer, I would really watch that right hand, straight right hand. That's all Beavel has, to be honest with you. He has a very dangerous right hand. So if Canelo stay away from that right hand, and if he, managed to do that, he'll be successful.
With all your travels through with coming up and being with Freddie Roach and with Abel and all the things that you've learned, what are 3 things that you know now about working in this industry that you wish you knew when you first started? Just
shut up. Don't talk about it. Don't get into problems. Just let things go. Because at the end of the day, sometimes you're all the way up and sometimes you're all the way down. So, and to be honest with you, I didn't know, like everything else. I thought we were tough, but little by little, I've been learning. And like I say, I just want to do my job and work hard and show everything inside the ring, and just respect everybody, be respectful and work hard and show the people, whatever you say, whatever I do, it doesn't matter. What matters is inside the ring, how you look when you win those fights. And right now, in my mind, it's just look impressive. That's all that's in my mind.
Well, Jose, we want to thank you.
Thank you. Good luck on your fight against David Lemieux. It's going to be a good fight, and we look forward to seeing you guys out there.
Thank you so much. And I want to thank the fans also. And let's pray for all the people that are in war right now. And we're here to do anything that we can. And thank you so much for the support.
All right.
Thank you, Jose. Whoa.
That was, what we learned. We learned a lot of things. We're going to have to go back and rewatch this.
Yeah.
There's a few things.
Yeah, notes. I can't even read half my notes, but it was really interesting that, he was very well spoken, and obviously when there are three sides. There are the truth, Caleb's, and then also the Benavidez family's truth. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a very, very different, we're always the hero of our own story, they say. And it was interesting to hear when Caleb was with us that he said, oh, they rolled up on me in the gym and they thought they were going to punk me in the gym. And then to hear Jose Sr. say, I asked him nicely, could you please stop saying things about my son, please? Please, I just want to,
Yeah.
So we got to get David's side of the story. He's got to get in here with us. Somebody had to be in the gym that day. If you've got cell phone footage, please email us at bestwomensboxingshow@gmail.com. If you've got footage, somebody got footage of that day in the gym.
Everyone is a cameraman.
That's
everyone.
Right.
But wow, it was a really good conversation. And then also I've known a little bit of Jose's story, but I didn't know he was Freddie Roach's assistant.
I didn't either.
I didn't know, because a lot of people have always thought, oh, he learned on YouTube how to be a boxer, because he started as a trainer very, very late, 25 years old. So it was quite interesting. And yeah, it's never too late, honestly. And look he's produced a world champion, two-time. Oh yeah. And he has a great stable. I know that Diego Pacheco, he is a top prospect. He's a hot top prospect in the super middleweight division, and he will be a world champion very, very soon. I guarantee it. I remember his pro debut from South Central.
Let us find out that the city of Seattle is going to be the next hotbed for boxing. I went to college in Seattle, and I couldn't have predicted that. But that's what
gloomy all the time over there.
It is, but you know what? Maybe that's the pro about it, because then they, you inside, because it's raining all the time. You're not out there getting distracted. There ain't nothing to do in Seattle per se. But great for him to join us, fighting David Lemieux. I still wanted to know a little bit more how Lemieux even got into this mix.
He didn't say. He just says that he's one of the best. But you know what? There are more people that are a tougher test. So maybe the other guys were just not available because they are looking for the Canelo sweepstakes. But like Canelo said, y'all fight each other. I don't give a fuck. You figure it out between you guys. And whoever wins, who has belts, I'll fight you.
Okay, because Canelo is going to Canelo, and y'all just going to wait, and he's going to do it with some Dolce & Gabbana pajamas on, and he's going to pop up, and he's going to do what he got to do, and you guys going to wait.
Yeah. Well, who do you think? Canelo, it's weird. I don't know if this is a promo. I saw it on Twitter with David Lemieux and David Benavidez, and he has no hair, Lemieux. And I don't know if you remember during the Gennady fight, all I saw was horsehair. So I don't know if he's really shaved. No, I'm not kidding. I remember I was ringside, and it was just like, I'm like, how does he see?
I remember seeing
I just want, we're always about hair. Like, I just want to slick it back, braid it.
He was being a rock star. He said, I need my, he needed it in his face so he could shake it like a Polaroid picture. But, so shout out to him, David Lemieux. We're going to see what happens with this fight. He's got a tough order ahead of him with David Benavidez. Canelo's got his marching orders with Dimitri Bivol. And, I want to see Canelo fight Benavidez. If he's going to hover in that weight class for a while, if he's going to stay in that light heavyweight arena for a while, then...
Okay, yes. But to be fair, Beterbiev didn't look too good in his last fight.
Man, if he fighting Canelo, once he see that payday, he's gonna be like, I'm in the gym. I'm in the mix. Shoot, if Canelo come fight me, I'll go to the gym right now.
Have you ever seen Beterbiev in the gym? Like the things that he does. He's
a tough man.
It's not human.
He's a better beat. Shout out to the Kali, one of my favorite message group boards. They always call him Better Beats.
Oh, the Better Beats.
Better Beats.
But again, well, thank you for joining us, and also please follow all of our socials.
Jeandra LeBeauf, of course.
It will be written somewhere on our thing, like here,
right here. It's right there. It's right there.
Right there.
Yep.
Yeah, somewhere right there. And then also check out our YouTube channel. Yeah, we'll have to put it there. Yeah. Twitter, and then also we're going to be dropping some After Dark special episodes. We already have some episodes in the can that we are editing, and then we got more interviews to do, and I can't wait for all of you guys to see. Jeandra and I are very excited, and thank you guys for tuning in to us. Anything else, babe?
Find out later what these are going to be for. Ooh. And that's all we're going to say about that. But yep, thanks for watching the Best Women's Boxing Show.
All right, I'm Cynthia Conte.
And I'm Jeandra LeBeauf.
Thanks, guys. Bye.